Hey friends, welcome to a very much requested video, my Japanese study goals for 2024. And before we start, I'm actually using a new mic, so let me know what you think about the sound quality. I bought the JLPT N4 in summer of 2023, and until now I still kept on studying the N4 material because I didn't really felt that comfortable with it even after passing the JLPT. But now it's time to progress more onto like harder things, so N3 material. I definitely want to study in a more relaxed manner in 2024 because when I prepared for the last JLPT, I burnt myself out like quite a lot. I started preparing a bit too late in my opinion. For other people it might have been a lot of time because I think I studied like 5 months, like real intensive JLPT study. But yeah, still it was too much for me with my work and everything. So this year I try to plan a little bit less each week than I would usually be able to do. And if I have time and want to do more, then that's great. But I definitely want to be productive, but I also want to feel good. This is my like overall goal. And I have like a really big goal which is most important for me, and that is to become better at speaking and also listening and bring all my skills onto the same level, kind of, because I didn't do a lot of that when I started studying Japanese, and I only did what felt like comfortable for me. And as some of you know, I plan on going to language school in autumn 2024, and they do a level test when you first enter the school to see in which class you're going to be placed. Therefore, all my skills have to be on the same level because I guess from what I've heard, if my listening and speaking is very bad, but my vocabulary and grammar is quite good, then I'm probably gonna be placed in a class like in between, or maybe even in the lower level class, and I don't want to be put in an N4 class, for example. That's basically why I want to focus on those two things the most. And how I'm gonna do this is that I want to continue with my weekly italki sessions, so 30 minutes a week. And I guess I will also increase that in maybe summer or at the start of autumn, because then there's not much time left until I have to leave for Japan, and I still want to like practice everyday conversations so that I'm not lost at the convenience store. And I also have a book. There you have like 88 grammar patterns that are most likely be used in conversational language. Sentence endings like wa, for example. And I hope that this will help me to understand spoken Japanese language better and also to be more able to follow, for example, reality TV shows, because they often use a lot of casual language, and sometimes I'm just overwhelmed with all the casual language that I basically know the words, but then I don't know like the casual forms, for example. I hope this will also help me to sound more natural when I'm speaking, because right now I probably sound like textbook. And since there are 88 sentence patterns in there, I plan on doing like 3 per week so that I'm finished with the book when I leave. And I also struggle a bit with the right use of grammar when I speak, so I also want to read a lot to improve my speaking. I want to do like intensive reading and extensive reading. And for intensive reading, I want to use those 2 books. I already read through this one entirely, and this one I just started. It's basically like, as the title says, short stories for beginners, but this one is really easy and this one is quite hard, to be honest. I want to go through the stories and just read them again. Do I understand every single word? Do I understand every single grammar pattern? If I don't understand it, I will like mark the words, like here for example, that I didn't know, like in the green, grammar patterns that I didn't know in pink, and then I of course want to review those things that I didn't know. And sometimes I see a use of a grammar pattern in a way I wouldn't have thought about using it, so then I will also mark this one and just underline it, and then I will also review it afterwards, and yeah, probably also add this to my sentence bank so that I can review this more with Anki. And I actually planned on starting this like in January, but after I wrote this plan, I thought I'm just gonna try how long it takes me to do a story so that I can just plan accordingly to my schedule. I already did 9 stories of this book and it only has 20, so I guess I will finish it in 2023 because right now it's the 28th of December. And yeah, I guess this will be done by then. So then I only have this one left for next year. Also 20 stories, so I plan on doing like maybe one per week if I have time. And after I did this one, I'm not quite sure which resource I'm gonna use for intensive reading afterwards, but yeah, I will update you of course in my vlogs. And then for extensive reading, I will use Satori Reader, which is a bit above my level, and I will also use graded readers, which are sometimes a bit below my level and sometimes like right at my level. I will also use some manga and books I bought in Thailand. So heavy. And those are the Ojisama to Nego series. I already talked about this one in a couple of videos. I have 4 in total now. And then I got this one for Christmas because my boyfriend got me a box of manga. Basically, it's a service that sends you used Japanese manga from Japan and you just tell them what your Japanese level is. And I told them mine is N4, 2, and 3 because of course I'm gonna progress until N3 now. And then they sent me 4 different manga and those were those 2, volume 1 and 2. And then those, volume 1 and 2. I hope I will be able to read them. I haven't tried them yet, but yeah, this is also like extensive reading material. I also have 2 books, and this one is the Hoshino Oji-sama, so The Little Prince in Japanese. And then this one, I think it's called Dobutsu no Kuni no Kyuseishu, so Savior of the Animal Kingdom. So those 2 are my books of choice. And I will probably also use other books, but again, I will update you in study vlogs which one I will use afterwards. But I guess this is a good amount, so I don't really know if I will be able to read more. With reading, I don't have a strict goal. I just want to read when I feel like it and don't make it a task or a chore because then I know I probably won't enjoy it. And then for speaking in general, my overall goal is to be able to speak about my life and things that I'm interested in without having to prepare too much and just have a really basic level conversation that just flows like really comfortably. I think that's definitely a realistic goal because right now I can already kind of do a fluent conversation with my italki tutor, but of course it's not that natural sounding, so I hope this will improve. For listening, I want to transcribe a lot of podcasts and then compare my transcribed text with the podcast transcript so that I see, okay, what didn't I understand, where are gaps in my vocabulary, listen to the podcast episode again with the transcript and try to listen out for the words I wasn't able to recognize before. And of course, my podcast of choice is Japanese with Shun, who would have thought? And the book I will be using to train my listening skills as well is the Shadowing book. And it's by the same publisher as the 88 Sentence Patterns book. And according to the book, it's supposed to increase your listening skills because it increases the cognitive load because you have to repeat immediately what you have heard. Not listening to like 1 minute and then repeating it, but they want you to basically talk along the listening section so that you really say it as a shadow and not just wait until they're finished and then repeat it. They have a lot of different texts in here, so dialogues, monologues, things about like casual language, business language, so a lot of things to practice. And the book states that it doesn't use textbook language, but a lot of slang, so I'm really looking forward to that. It covers N5, 2, and 2, and it has 6 units. The book recommends to do 10 minutes a day. When you do it at this pace, 1 unit takes 3 months to do, so basically the whole book takes like 1.5 years, which is crazy because it's super thin. But yeah, I will take the advice of the book and do 10 minutes a day. The first unit is only N5 and it's really basic stuff, so I guess I will go through this really quickly. And then I hope to finish unit 4 before I'm going to Japan, and that's basically where the N3 ends and N2 starts, so this would be a really good point to stop using the book this year. And then we get onto my nice to have goals, so things that are not like in the center of my attention, but I want to work towards them. And this is to maybe, probably sit the N3 in December. I say maybe and probably because I'm not quite sure if I will be able to do it, but my thought process goes like the following. So right now I'm trying to start studying N3 material, and when I will go to Japanese language school, I hope to be put in an N3 class. So then I will continue studying N3. In December there is a JLPT, and I heard that quite a lot of Japanese language schools encourage their students to take the JLPT even though they might not be prepared enough. So I hope to be able to take the JLPT in Japan in December, but we will see how I will do, so I have no idea. And in order to get closer to be able to take the JLPT N3, I have a few resources I want to use. And the first one is the Kanji Look and Learn workbook, and I've been using this one like over a year now, I think. And it has 512 kanji, so quite a lot. I made it until chapter 25, and it has 32 chapters. So first of all, I want to finish the book, and I planned on doing half a chapter a week. Each chapter has 16 kanji, so 8 kanji a week. After I finish the book, I want to review, of course, everything that I've done, see which kanji are a bit shaky and which words I just can't remember how to write in kanji. And I plan on doing 1 chapter a week, or maybe even more in the beginning, because of course the kanji at the start of the book are really easy. So yeah, I hope that I can review everything maybe until I go to Japan, because a lot of language schools use this book, and it would be nice to get a head start because I already went through this one twice. And then my other resource will be the GoGo Nihon N3 level course. I actually planned on using the quartet book before, but since I was gifted this course by GoGo Nihon, I of course want to use it, and it might be even more interesting than just studying from a book because it has video lessons. And the course has 11 chapters, and each chapter is supposed to take you 10 hours. And since I don't have 10 hours a week just to do this, I will go through it a lot slower than it is actually intended. My goal is to finish around half of the course until I have to leave for Japan. So I will study for around like 3 hours a week. Initially, I wanted to finish the whole course before I go to Japan, but doing just 6 hours of this course study each week and then all the other stuff on top is not realistic, like not in the slightest. And as I said, I don't want to stress myself out, so I will leave it unfinished, even though it really triggers me. And if you're also interested in the course or other courses that GoGo Nihon offers, I will leave some affiliate links in the description box below. And I also want to use the quartet book and the Shinkansen Master grammar book to look up grammar that I maybe am not so sure of, or where I didn't understand the explanation in the course, etc. Because I already bought these resources and I don't want to let them go to waste. And I also definitely want to do the exercises in the Shinkansen Master grammar book for the grammar that I'm going to be learning. More exercises are always a good idea. And then I also have other resources that I plan to use like here and there, but not regularly. And this is the N3 Tango 2000. It basically has 2000 essential vocabulary for the N3, and it's grouped into different sections based on the topic. And I think it's really nice to have the words grouped into similar topics because it's easier to remember that way. Of course, I want to see like how many words I already know. And when I prepare for my italki lessons, I want to see if maybe the topic I want to talk about is inside of this book, and then see if there's vocabulary that I might want to use during the talk, or like things I maybe wouldn't have thought of to use. And then I also have the Ikemen Eikaiwa books, which I also bought in Thailand, like most of the other books I showed you today. And yeah, those are basically books for Japanese people to learn English, but of course you can also use it the other way around. They have a lot of different sentences in there, like in English and in Japanese. A lot of expressions that you would use in your everyday life that maybe a grammar book doesn't really teach you. So I also want to go through them, but not one by one, but just see which expressions are catching my interest, which one I may be missing in my current vocabulary, and then study those especially. And since the books contain 150 situations in total, I of course can't do every situation and not go through everything. So my goal is to go through one situation each week. For the JLPT preparation, I of course will use the resources that my language school is going to give me. But I guess from what I've heard, JLPT Speedomaster is a really good book for practicing reading speed. And then the Kanji Master is a good book for practicing kanji. Then I also have this book, and it's the Nihongo Go Hyakumon N3. This is basically a collection of questions for practicing for the JLPT. I've been loving this book for the N4, so I'm excited to use it again for N3. Once I am in language school and know if I'm gonna take the JLPT or not, I will also probably make a JLPT preparation video, like especially for the N3 and all the like prep resources. So if you don't want to miss that, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you've liked the video so far, please also give it a thumbs up. So now let's continue with how I'm gonna implement everything that I've showed you into my weekly schedule. And I'm gonna have to look on my iPad for that. I try to associate each activity with a certain day so that I have like a rough weekly plan, but of course I won't be able to stick to this plan every single week because different things come up, work gets busy, whatever. That's why I also try to alternate the length of study sessions. So one day I have like a longer study session and a shorter one, a longer one, a shorter one. So that, for example, if I can't do the longer day, I can just like catch up the next day on the stuff I haven't done the day before. So I hope this makes sense. I also split up the tasks into like morning study and evening study. And for morning study, I have like almost every single day listening to one podcast episode, 10 minutes of shadowing, so with the shadowing book, and then app reviews. And with app reviews, I mean, of course, Anki, where I put the new vocabulary in, also the grammar sentences, like example sentences of the grammar that I'm learning, so that I will review them with spaced repetition, so that I will be hopefully more likely to remember the grammar points. Then also the kanji app, so Learn Japanese Kanji, that I've been using for a long time. And there I also gonna review the kanji that I've learned in the Kanji Look and Learn book. And then the Bunpo app, where I will also go through the explanations of the grammar points I've learned in the GoGo Nihon course, and also do the spaced repetition for the different grammar sentences. Monday evening, I will decide on an italki topic that I will talk about on the weekend, then look up relevant words in the N3 Tango 2000, and then transcribe one podcast episode that is about the topic I chose for my italki session, so that I will see how other people talk about it and get to know some vocabulary that I could use. On Tuesday evening, I will write a little text about the podcast topic and share it on HelloTalk, so that I will practice using the words that I discovered the day before. I will go through half of the chapter of the Kanji Look and Learn book. On Wednesday, I will have 1 hour of the GoGo Nihon course study, and then one Ikemen Eikaiwa situation. And on Thursday, I will read one short story intensively from the Japanese short stories book, write down the corrected version of the podcast text that I wrote and submitted on Tuesday, so that I will learn from my mistakes and see, okay, which words I use that are not great in the context and which words I could use instead when I have my italki session. On Friday, I only have 1 hour of course study for the GoGo Nihon course. And then for Saturday and Sunday, I didn't divide my study time into morning and evening study, because there I will just put everything where it fits into my weekend schedule. There I have like 10 minutes of shadowing, 30 minutes italki lesson, and then italki wrap up, where I will just put new vocabulary I learned into Anki and just think about what we talked about, what I learned in the session, of course app reviews, and then 3 sentence patterns from the 88 sentence patterns book. And on Sunday, I only have 10 minutes of shadowing, app reviews, and 1 hour of course study from the GoGo Nihon course. So this is basically my ideal week plan. Of course, I will also have immersion study, and I feel like I have to stress this a lot, because I recently got a comment that I'm not doing immersion and that I should do more immersion and things that are outside of my comfort zone, etc. But of course, I only show you a part of how I'm studying and not everything, and I don't want to film every evening where I'm sitting on the couch and watching like anime or a Japanese reality TV show, because I feel like it would be quite boring to you. But I guess I have to incorporate more into my vlogs, because otherwise it may not reflect reality. So of course I will also watch Japanese reality TV shows, and I recently just started First Love on Netflix. And I also gonna take part in the mini immersion weekend, which is hosted every 2 months-ish. This is a weekend where you are like supposed to spend as much time as possible or as long as you want with native media from your target language. So Japanese books, Japanese music, Japanese TV shows, etc., movies, whatever. So this is also like a big immersion chunk that I'm gonna go through. Let me know what you think about the study plan. Let me know if you have a study plan as well and how it looks. I'm also interested to learn from you because I just share my journey, and of course it's not perfect and I don't have all the answers, of course. And if you want to see if I can actually stick to my plans and how I will implement it into reality, don't forget to follow up with my next vlogs, and you can also tune in to the study streams I do like once or twice a week. I would be happy to see you guys there. And if you know someone who could benefit from this video, please share it with them. If you're interested in more of my Japanese studies, I will also put you a playlist here and another video. And I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye bye!